Right, hello. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Getting on. I'm waiting for Sue. She's blethering on the phone next door. It's Peter Reid. You got your brakes sorted out yet?
Yes, I
Pete?
have. Yes, I've invoiced Councillor Castle.
Yes, I know. It must have been a shock when you put the brakes on. This parachute came out the back.
You've been planning that joke all day, haven't you?
No, just the last 3 minutes. I was just sat in there thinking about it, and I just... Right.
Good evening, John.
There we are. That's it. Good evening.
Good evening, John.
There's another
Peter?
one of those monoliths has turned up. Have you seen these monoliths keep appearing places?
Peter,
Yes, John.
have you had a chance to look at that historic map thing yet?
I have. Yes, I'm not sure quite how to play it though, John. I'll probably give you
No,
a quote.
I don't think they're looking much for money from us.
Right.
I think it's more publicity.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I had a memo from Janet. I don't think it actually clashes with the digital idea of Martin Harrington.
But my reading of it was that it actually was digital, but
No, it's actually printed.
right. Okay.
They've got the society have got a couple of copies of examples.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it looks quite interesting, but
Yeah, I like the idea. It's quite a bit of money though, I think.
yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
I said this to Ian, and I said for what they're actually doing and what the society and presume the townsfolk are supposed to do, I thought it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
So I wasn't happy about that side of it. But anyway,
No,
just have a thought.
Yeah, I do like the idea,
Yeah.
John.
No, I just wondered if it's something we could almost do ourselves. Well, not ourselves, but the town could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, yeah.
Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sue.
Oh.
Hi, Alan.
Oh.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
I think you're on mute.
Is that better?
That's much better.
Yeah.
How are you, Alan?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good.
Went for a walk past your place yesterday, down Fisher Lane,
Uh-huh.
down as far as the building work. Couldn't get any further because it was about a foot deep in mud.
Oh, it's filthy.
Yeah. If you go
First,
down, sorry, Alan.
I was going to say, if you walk up the Relief Road, it's pretty muddy up there as well. And the path is a mire.
The alternative, but the new footpath's disgusting. You can't get past it. The old one. Peter, I sent you some photographs. You were going to send them to the enforcement officer.
Yeah, no, we'll do. I've got to collect some stuff I got from somebody else as well. I can't remember. I'll collect it tomorrow and get it sent off.
Thank you.
I can't remember who it was.
Because as you know, there's meant to be a wheel wash, and there's never been a wheel wash, and it's getting worse.
So I've gone.
By the way, Jeff, I didn't reply to your email about timelines on all the problems. I agree. It's just putting it together. I think it would be useful to have it ready.
Yes. Yeah, that was suggested by John, actually. I think John and I had a chat, didn't we, John?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, because I was particularly concerned about the whole thing,
Yeah.
and we came up with some thoughts. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm missing out on that, Linda. I didn't know what that was.
It's just all the complaints about the construction site and the problems that we've had, and
Yeah.
putting together a timeline of all the complaints, and an awful lot of them haven't been addressed.
I know
So-
I fielded a good few, and I've asked you about them in the past. And
Yeah, and so it was suggested that we try to put a timeline together about, you know, when they all started, and
I'll have a dig back in my emails, see if I can find any. There's one from a guy called Steve Jones where they were starting work at 7:30 on a Sunday morning.
yeah, there's been
Big stuff like that.
yeah, there's been, I mean, there's just been hundreds, just about everything you can think of.
I see. Evening, Janet.
Evening, Janet.
Hi. Who are we waiting for now?
Just Gordon. We have apologies from Martin Swinbank. So it's just Gordon.
Peter Broom.
Peter Broom.
Peter Broom. Good spot, Janet.
Give him another few minutes.
Oh, here he comes.
God.
What have we got now? Hi, Peter. You're on mute.
Gordon there.
Gordon's there.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Gordon.
All right.
Gordon, I've still got that letter from Anne-Marie Trevelyan here. It's burnt a mark in our table.
A good one, yes, it might be great improvement. Yes.
I hope
Have it
I
back.
wrote to her. I wrote her a stinker, I'm afraid.
Oh, how could you, Sue?
Well, basically, because the criticism I'm hearing on here is all directed at her because nobody's heard anything about her for so long. There's no defence of Northumberland, as far as we know, being in Tier 3. And basically, she's just been absent. You know,
there's an article in the Gazette today from her explaining why we're in Tier 3. I haven't read it, but I saw that.
Maybe that was prompting it.
And she was elected to Parliament, not the town council, I might like to point out.
From London, yes.
That's where she's supposed to be.
Or Cornwall.
Or Cornwall, yeah, maybe.
Well,
anyway,
which is only got one hospital.
Anyway, shall we start our meeting?
I'll just finish. When she comes up, she's criticised for photo opportunity. When she doesn't come up, she's criticised for not being here. It's called not being able to win.
Oh, just tell her retires now.
Fair enough. Right, let's start, everybody, shall we? Good evening. Any apologies, Janet, please?
Martin Swinbank.
Yeah. Declarations of interest.
Just the one I normally have.
Thanks, Gordon. Minutes of the previous meeting. Have we all read them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go through them all? Have we got anything particular? Martin asked last time about the effect of COVID on the pre-sale.
Sue's got something, I think, Sue.
Yeah. Sorry, say again.
I think Sue's got a point.
Sorry, are we doing minutes?
Yes.
Yes. Are you doing matters arising, Sue? Or
I'm just going through them actually to look at them. I haven't got as far as matters arising. I'm sorry.
oh, okay. I was just going to. It was just a comment on the Janet. I think you've updated the typos, but I think the resolved things have slipped a bit. Maybe.
I'll have a look. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had time to go through the updates. Has anybody any comments on anything at the moment? I don't think there's anything particular there. Let's go back to the agenda. So really, if there's no matters arising, we'll move straight on to the budget update. Is that Peter?
They need approving,
Yeah.
Sue.
I beg your pardon, so sorry. A proposal, please, to approve the minutes.
Can we just,
Thank you, Sue.
have you seen the resolved issues, Janet? It's just that they've kind of, you've got under constitution resolved about something else. I think they need to be changed before you agree them.
Well, I've slipped up not reading these.
Just send proposed meeting schedule to, oh yeah, that's not
You
right.
know, under constitution update, it's got resolved to send a proposed meeting schedule to all councillors for discussion. I think it's just slipped. The resolved bits of the minutes have slipped under different headings.
Ah,
Oh, that's there. What's that?
Yeah, that's slipped as well. Yeah.
right, what do you want us to do, Sue? Do you want us to approve them as they are with Janet saying she'll...
Yeah, just to, yes, yeah.
That a proposal then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Second, please. All those in favour? I think we're... Alan, are you voting in favour of those?
Well, I wasn't at the meeting, so it's difficult to vote when you weren't there.
Fair enough. Those are accepted.
I've marked the correction, Sue.
Thank you. So budget update. Is that Peter or
No,
Janet?
Janet's doing the budget update.
Me. I'll just go through the headings where we've had sort of probably bigger expenditure since last time. Quite a bit gone through. I think about 45,000 gone through since the last meeting. So we've got some increase obviously in salary costs. That's now a 7-month figure. The next biggie is obviously grants.
No.
We've just paid out £34,150 in grants. So those cheques have just gone out. We've also had our external audit fee in. Our external audit has just been completed. Peter will probably report at full council, but it was all okay. You can tell it's okay because they sent their invoice with their report. That's gone up slightly, so we're just slightly over budget on that. It's last year it was £1,000. This year it came in at 1,300.
Blimey.
So we're just a little bit over.
Was there a reason for
see.
that? Or?
It's the size of it's just the amount of expenditure that we've got and the size of council that we are. That's all. It's nothing. They've not had to do any extra work or anything. They've just it's increase in fee. Next expenditure, obviously 7 months salary for Tim, and then we've got some expenditure under the neighbourhood plan and community action plan. We've paid another part of our website instalment, so another £1,746 on that. We spent some more money on COVID, some more hand sanitizer, some more gloves. Yeah, that was about it, I think, on that. A little bit more on kind of general expenditure, as you'd expect. You know, another phone bill in, a little bit more on stationery, a little bit more on copying. And then on miscellaneous, just we've got a couple of little bit more on bank charges. The main expenditure that has gone through there are the Zoom licenses that we bought. They were £360 for 3. So we've got those. And then the last bit of expenditure, just a little bit more on the council van. Last time we just got money in for fuel. This time it's since had its MOT. It's been taxed. Oh, sorry, Johns. And it needed some new wiper blades to get it through its MOT. So
very good.
That all went through okay. So to date, the total expenditure is £120,181.
Okay. Anybody got any questions there? John, you're on mute.
I haven't got a question, but I'm afraid my computer keeps dipping in and out with the old network problem, which we seem to get up here quite regularly.
Yes.
So I apologise if I disappear and I don't come back.
Did you manage to hear most of what Janet was saying?
No, but it doesn't matter. Forget. No, don't to worry.
Okay. You have to listen to me on YouTube, John.
Yes, I will.
Did you have a
point? I should, yeah.
Peter, did you have a point? No, you're on mute. Sorry.
I've clicked the wrong one. There you go. I was just looking at the amount of fuel that we've used in the van. How long a period is that for, Peter? Or Janet, whichever the case might be?
It'd be for this financial year, Peter.
Oh, it's for the whole year?
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Okay.
Linda.
I was thinking that's an awful lot for a month.
No.
Yeah. Linda.
Just wondering, the phone bills, is that including the use of your own phones at home? Because it's not just the office phone, is it?
It's just the office phone.
And you haven't been in the office a great deal?
No, but the standing charge, most of that's standing charge.
Oh, I see. Gosh, that's a lot.
There's very few. I think that's...
There's a broadband, the broadband's in that as well, I think, Janet.
Yeah, it is. The broadband gets put in every quarter, and the phone bills are every month.
Okay.
They're normally about... It's probably normally about £100 a month we're paying. It's about 125, and I allocate 25 to the cemetery, just as a flat figure. So yeah, it's about £100 to the office. But sometimes that does include broadband. So
it seemed a lot when you weren't in the office very much, but now I understand. Thanks.
Yeah. Peter.
Yeah, just whilst we're talking about phones, I'm looking into a few options around getting some digital phones, so that we can pick up the work phone on our mobiles, so we don't have to give our individual mobiles out. I think it's cheaper as well. There's some cheaper deals.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Any other comments on that? Excuse me, don't know where the voice is going. Okay. Do we have to approve that, or?
No, that's just an update, Sue.
An update, okay. Yeah. Draft budget proposals.
Okay, if you just bear with me a moment, I'll attempt to share my screen. Does that work? Can everybody see?
Yes, got it now.
Yeah.
Spreadsheet?
Fine.
Yeah, super. Okay. If you've been at one of the other committee meetings where we've been discussing budgets, you'll have heard all of this before, but at the start of meetings, I've just been setting a little bit of context in terms of the steer that I got from the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor in terms of the overall precept this year. So we've been working towards no increase in the precept for this financial year. We've had 2 budget meetings already. So the Cemetery Committee agreed a budget which was just over £4,000 less than the net budget of the previous year. Rec and Amenities came in with exactly the same bottom line, which means that we've got about 5,500 to play with if we are to hit that that zero precept rise. Just on the spreadsheets, just to explain a couple of things as well.
Peter,
the overall budget last year, the total precept that we collected. Am I sorry?
Yeah, it's just breaking up a bit. Did anybody else get that? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll continue. Just let me know if I'm breaking up again. Okay. Yeah. Last year's total precept that we levied was 329,290. To get to a point where the Band D tax level remains the same, i.e. £116.40, the total precept will be 330,483, which is a marginal rise because the tax base is increased by about 11 properties. So if we look at the finance and policy budget with that in mind, I've pulled together some proposals here, which I'll go through. We haven't proposed to increase the salaries, the admin costs of Janet Knight, because there's a pay freeze being announced. a number of other budgets that we've kept the same. We've kept the room bookings the same. Obviously, we don't know. We're hoping that we'll get back to normal events from the 1st of April from a financial perspective. So that's been kept in the same. Slightly uplifted the insurance budget. We've got a twinning budget in there just in case, although I think given COVID, that's probably unlikely to happen. We've upped the audit fee, looking at where things have gone on that. The council priorities budget looks very strange. I've upped that from 10k to 14,143. That's to get that precept level to 0 for change. So if there are any ideas or any additional budgets that people want to discuss now, we can use that pot there to do so. The other thing probably to say is that there are a lot of budgets where there's the potential for carry forward given the low expenditure levels this year. So in terms of what we've got to spend next year, I'm not overly concerned that we aren't putting the precept up. Finally, before I let you sort of ask any questions or make comments, just did a quick comparison today. So I was going to move you on my screen. With the, can everybody see that still? The changing sheet. Yeah. So this is just, I picked out a relevant basket of other councils in the county. So the ones that have got the larger precepts, over sort of 200,000. And as you can see, this is based on this year's precepts. You can see we're low to middle in terms of that league deal, in terms of what our precept charge is. So that puts it in a little bit of context. Okay, happy to take any questions, Sue?
Yes, anybody got any questions?
Just a quick one. Did I hear that you're saying we're aiming not to increase the precept this year?
Yeah, that's been the premise that we've worked the previous budget meetings on, given the COVID issues. That though, ultimately that's a council decision that we'll vote on in January, but we had to have some sort of steer in terms of how we wanted to play the budget.
Right. Okay.
Anyone else? Linda and then Peter.
I just wanted to say that normally I wouldn't be in favour of aiming for a 0 precept uplift, but because of the number of people losing jobs, the lack of trade, the whole impact of COVID, I do feel that it needs to be as low as possible if there's any increase. So I just wanted, because Jeff and I met with Peter to discuss this, and so I just wanted to say what the reason was behind it.
Yeah. Peter Broom and then Peter Hedgley.
I think I've asked this question before. Because all the extra development in the town, obviously we get more money in now. I just wondered when we actually get that and on where we can find that in the figures.
Peter Hedgley.
Yeah, that's in the tax base, Peter. So the tax base went up by 11 this year. So that's 11 bandy equivalents effectively. Previous year it went up by quite a bit more. I think it was about 35 off the top of my head. So that's how that's reflected. So effectively, by charging the same this year, we're getting about £1,200. We would be getting £1,200 more in total precept.
All right. Okay. Right.
The tax baseline figures that are presented in this spreadsheet are provisional, and they will be voted upon in about a week's time. I think at County Hall, so we'll have the final tax base figure.
8th of December, final one. 8th of
Thank
December.
you, Janet. Yeah. I think it rarely changes, to be honest, but from the provisional one, so it's likely to be that number.
Janet, you had your hand up. Was that what you wanted to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan?
I'm just asking if there is a contingency in the budget for any implications of a staffing review with regards to have we got the staffing right and there are issues which need to be addressed. And can I hope that when these are addressed, we'll not have to wait a year to actually implement them?
A comment on that, Peter?
Yeah, my view, given what we are likely to be able to carry forward in certain budget heads because of underspends this year, I think there will be plenty of flexibility in the budget next year to do and make any changes, as you pointed out, on them that might need to happen.
Gordon.
Yes, and of course, it's sort of cash, sort of big outlay. At most, it would be a monthly outlay. But I would like to say, I wasn't going to mention too much, but I've got a mind that something we're looking at probably has to go through rec amenities, children's play equipment. Have we got sufficient? I mean, I know, have we got enough to spend more coming up if we need to spend it or should spend it on projects, highly desirable projects for the community? Because I would like to think we're cutting it too fine. Have we sufficient? Should we have to fund a reasonably good project that is in my mind and has been raised by Tim Curtin through the high school, which is play equipment for older children? And I find I've a little bit more money in my budget because they haven't taken it off me instead of Robbie Moore. They've taken off what he would have got instead of me. So I've got a bit more than I thought, and I was in principle committed to at least match funding, or at least putting some in. I would expect the council to be able to match fund. That's the town council. Are we able to do that? Have we got sufficient contingency, do you think, Peter?
Do you want me to come back on that too? Yeah. Yes is the short answer to that, Gordon. One of the sort of the bundled, what I'd like to say is flexible budgets, is the council priorities budget that we have. So that's been upped from a baseline of £10,000 in this financial year to just under 15,000 next year. This year, we also carried forward 28,000 underspent from the previous year, of which our total spend on that budget this year is going to be about 18. So there's probably, if the council wanted to, when we get to March, April time, we could make a decision to probably carry forward about 20k to add to the 15 that we've got already. And that's a very healthy pot to do. 35k is a very healthy pot to do some projects with, that should they come along.
Yeah.
Thank you. The only reason I asked, if I might just follow it up, have I switched myself off? No, the only reason I was following that one up is because it seems to me that what I've got, it's better to match fund if at all possible, to add to for a major project rather than spend it on not a small, it's about 5k, but nevertheless it would be a substantial element of what we could regard as a major project, which we seem to be working through at the moment for play equipment for older children, which is what it is. I'm not, no secret.
Okay. Sorry, Peter Hately, and then Peter.
Yeah, I'm happy to come at the end of this if other people have questions too. I was just going to make a comment on the way that we approach budgets and some changes I think we probably need to make going forward, but if there's any more questions, I'll take them first.
Peter Broom, did you have a point?
Yeah, just that we obviously brought this to the last recreation amenities meeting, and we've left it in Tim's hands for this duration to source from user groups to find a way forward as to what we actually need. So, I mean, there was a lot of ideas like put in the pot as to what we could actually do, and obviously we've got Swansfield Park. We do have part of the retainer for that, which we can spend on new equipment. So I guess it can go in as additional equipment rather than a replacement. So okay. If Gordon could see if there was any of that money available that was in the, because the county council got £100,000 to look after the park, and they just seem to be spending the money on cutting the grass and haven't actually done anything at all in the park to enhance it. And you wonder how much is left in that pot, and if we could have some of that, I don't know, maybe some outdoor gym equipment actually in the main park would go a long way. But if Gordon could try and track that, see where that is, and if it's available.
Are you able to do that, Gordon?
Well, yes, I know. So that I think Peter will tell you is slightly trickier than that. What you're saying, that's a dowry for maintenance. I'm not sure if it could be used for capital. We could inquire about that. What I'm saying, all I'm simply saying is that the funding I've got, the high school have got involved, and Tim went straight to the high school, the Duchess's school, and there's a lot of enthusiasm for it. And I thought we should capitalise on that, get the children involved. So that's why I'm quite keen to see that go forward. I'd like to think that the town council, in the end, ultimately had enough money, but that's obviously a town council's decision. Sorry, Sue, I know Sue's wanting to speak.
Yeah, Sue.
Sorry, yes, it was just that we discussed this at R&A about kind of like that the town council can apply for grants as well. So, you know, kind of there is, as I said before, there are grants we can get which will match fund as well. So especially if you get young people involved, if you run a survey around the high school and get them on board, which you'll need to do, and then apply for something like awards for up to 10 grand. I mean, I'm sure with COVID and situation of young people having not loads to do at the moment, might well, you know, kind of get that match funding as well.
That's a great idea. Yeah, Peter Haitley, did you want to?
Yeah, firstly, just to comment on Peter's query about the £100,000 diary that came with the Swansfield Park. We actually have that money. That's the Santander investment that we have. So I think there's 102,000. Is it a different pot, Peter, you're talking about?
Yes, that was 2 pots, Peter. We got a pot and the county council got a pot.
Right.
I think it was similar amounts, was it, Gordon?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it was. Whether they would use it for capital is another matter. No harm in asking.
So you have another point?
Yeah, just going to say that if we remember rightly, it was for maintenance.
Yeah. Okay. And Peter.
Then just one final point for me, because this is the right committee to initially discuss it. I think we're missing a cog in the process of budget setting, which comes right at the start. And that relates to actually what are our priorities for next year. You know, what do we feel about raising the precepts? That type of discussion should be starting before we have the individual budget meetings to set that premise. So that it's something I was aware of last year, but given the year we've had, it's not something we've put in place. But I think when we start this process next year, it's something we should certainly do.
Yeah. Good point. Has anybody had any more comments? Okay, we'll move on. Initial consideration of the precept, or have we virtually covered
just that? On the previous point, Sue, we could do an approval of that as a budget.
Okay,
recommendation.
May we have a proposer, please? Thank you, Linda, and the seconder. Thank you, John. All in favour? Thank you. Yeah, that's fine. Initial consideration of the precept now.
Yeah, most of this was sort of covered in the previous point in terms of that precept. I'm just going to try and share this screen again, just so see what I'm talking about. Okay, so just again to remind you, based on the budgets that we've now approved, all of the committees. You see there's a total rise of nearly £1,200, but the precept at band D would remain the same. And this will go out to full council in January, pending the confirmation of the tax base. The other thing that we need to consider at this point is whether we're sort of looking at setting a budget, but do we dip into reserves to help finance that budget? Historically in the past, I don't think we've ever done that. The key question is, where do we sit in terms of reserves? Do we sit within the parameters that the reserves policy suggests we should have in the bank, which is between 4 and 8 months worth of expenditure? Expenditure obviously moves up and down through the year, but the last sort of stable point, if you like, to look at our reserves from that respect, at the end of the last financial year, where we had £204,000 in the bank, which was right in the middle of that 4 and 8 months of expenditure. So I would recommend that we don't use reserves to finance that budget, and it all comes from the precept. And if you're in agreement, we look for an approval, a recommendation and approval of that to take to council in January.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Has anybody any comments? In that case, a proposer, please. Thank you. And a seconder, obviously there. All in favour? Thank you. That one's fine. Peter, online banking, or is it Janet again? Who deals
No,
with
it's me. It's me again. Sorry. You're lucky tonight. I realise you can't see me because the lighting's that terrible in my office.
I can
So
see the light. I can just about see you.
I must sort that for
Lucky you.
last time.
I couldn't do that in Photoshop, Peter. I don't know how you've done it.
Bear with me again. I'm just going to work out how to share my screen. Okay. Right. So some of you will be aware that for probably the last 6 months, I've been trying to get us to the point where we can pay some bills online, which will be a real saving in terms of officer time as much as anything else. There are still a few things that I need to do in terms of working out how we can pay for things online, and I'd like to digitise the petty cash system as much as I can as well. But I'm parking them for the moment and just trying to focus on actually getting us the ability to pay for things via bank transfer. And one of the things that we obviously need to do is to make sure that the Constitution reflects the fact that we can pay for things online. So the idea here is that we would approve these constitutional changes tonight and then take them to full council for the final nod next week, and then hopefully we'll be able to push on paying things online. So I'll just go through the changes that I'm recommending, and then if anybody's got any questions, we can go through them. So the first one really is just to introduce changes of wording to introduce the fact that we can pay for things online. So the first line would disappear and it will be replaced by this text here. Pretty straightforward. Yeah,
Yes.
the RFO is the responsible financial officer, which is one thing again that I think needs to be consistently used through the document. Sometimes the proper officer is used, sometimes it's the RFO. So that's the first one. The second one, I've just changed the word signature and put approval in because obviously you don't sign electronic payments. And then I've just tried to give some clarity on how the two events would work. So if we're writing checks, they require 2 signatures as they do already. Also, in the event that one councillor wasn't available to sign a cheque, that I would be able to do so. That's already in the Constitution. And the electronic payments will be raised by myself and then require 2 people to sign them. And actually, I'll just take a step back because I've missed quite an important part out of that first part. Oops. Bear with me. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to say, this part here is a bit of a change. So at the moment, we just have 3, at least 3 signatories. At the moment, I think we've got about 9. Some of us are sadly no longer with us. Some of them are sadly no longer with us as a councillor or as a human, actually. So it's something that we need to refresh. And in my view, I think we should make sure that we do this every year.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the mayor, the deputy mayor, and the chairs of the committee should be the people that are approving expenditure. And I think if we put this into the Constitution, I think it would force us to make the changes to the mandates every year on a yearly basis when we appoint chairs and mayors and deputy mayors. So that's a change that I'm recommending.
Can I ask a question on that, please?
Yes, of course you can.
Just given the problems that we had with the bank this year,
yeah,
are you confident that you'll be able to do that every year within the year?
Yeah, we should be able to. I think in the year. I don't think it probably has been this year. Hopefully it's just been differently for the banks as well. But I think I understand how Barclays work a little bit better now as well, so I might be able to push that on. But I think if we don't put something like that in the Constitution, it'll kind of drift in the way that it has done. And especially given the phishing call that I thought I had on Friday, it makes you open your eyes actually to who's the signatories, and I think we need to make a real effort to make sure the right people are the signatories for the account.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just a bit concerned that what happened this year with Barclays. was worse than other experiences I've had changing signatories, but it's still been a problem with Santander and with HSBC, and 2 organisations that I was involved in.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree, Linda. It has been difficult, but I think it's something we should try and do at least, at the very least. The next part here, I think.
I'll just ask quickly,
Sorry, Jeff,
Peter.
Yeah.
The electronic payments require the approval of 2 signatories. I take it we're recording the approval for a paper trail, or do you just ring up and say?
No, you do it online, Jeff. So you'll get access to internet banking. You have to physically go on to authorise the payment. When we get to that point, I'll go through that. But it's a pretty straightforward thing to do. We used to do it at the football club. So somebody would raise the payment, and then 2 other people would have to approve it before it was paid.
Sorry, can I just say, Peter and I discussed this afternoon, and Peter's idea of at the end of a main council meeting, 2 of the signatories stay behind and we go through online approving the payments. That would be quite a simple way of doing it, I think, but I'm sure we can work it out so that this is done properly as per the proper rules.
Yeah. I think the payments would be set up initially prior to the meeting, and then once the payments were approved, you could literally do them in probably 5 or 10 minutes after the meeting. Would be the best way to do it. This part here, I'll just carry on, then it'll take any more questions as you wish. At the moment, we've got a wages account. The only thing that comes out of the wages account are nest payments. I think probably when the council started, it probably made sense to have a separate wages account from the other general account, but I think we don't really need that now, and it's just an additional sort of account to manage the things going out of it. So we'll probably try and get approval at full council next week, just to take that down to a penny or even close it, and not use the wages account anymore. So that's why I've taken that narrative out of there.
Okay.
Currently in the Constitution, it allows utility bills to be paid by direct debit, but there are other ones that Janet and I feel as if we probably could pay by direct debit. It would make sense to do so. So I'm suggesting in the Constitution we allow it if it's approved by councillors. A good example of it is the printing one, Janet, isn't it? The photocopy that we've got, and the usage, we have to let them know what the usage is, but then we have to write a check for that every month, and that could be paid by direct debit. And there will be other examples as we move along. So I think that's probably a good addition. And then the final one is something that should have been done already, is because it has been agreed, is to up the petty cash to £150. That's already been agreed by council previously. So that's my recommended changes to the Constitution.
Does anybody have any comments on any part of that? Are we in agreement? Peter?
Yeah, very straightforward.
Peter Broom?
Looks pretty straightforward. Peter, your wages and Janet's wages and everybody else's wages, are they paid by County Hall? Or?
Yes.
So you make one payment?
We get an invoice every month. Yeah, we get an invoice every month for 11,000 or whatever it is, and that goes, we pay County Hall.
So does that
I think in the past that would... Yeah. Sorry, Peter.
Was that just paid by direct debit in the first instance, or?
No, we pay it by cheque.
See, that's just like...
Brackets, isn't it?
Can that not be a direct debit as well?
I'm not sure. The only thing, it does change sometimes with overtime for the guys. That's the only change, but I'm not sure if they do direct. They might do. They might do, Peter. Yeah.
It must be a nightmare for the county council to be receiving checks as well, to be honest with you. But yeah, maybe have a look at that one.
Yeah.
Gordon?
Yes, I mean, you're right. Checks will be written by the RFO and require 2 signatures. Is the bank going to require the named persons that are signatories, or is it going to be any chair of committee? Is that what you're telling me? It will be a named chair of committee.
No, it would have to be a person.
So you'd have to, yes, because as Peter will remember, the Christmas Lights Committee was signing checks, and the only authorised signatures on the checks were both dead, and the people signing them had no authority to sign them at all. It was so absurd, and trying to change it when the two signatures were actually gone from this earth was as close to impossible as you can imagine. However,
yeah, that's actually a good point, Gordon, because if you don't keep on top of who the signatories are, it becomes increasingly difficult to change them. And I think that's one of the problems we've had this year, Linda, is doing that.
So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, and do they not do PAYE at county? I know we'd have to pay them to do it, wouldn't we? But can we find out how much that would be?
Yeah, I guess they do that for us, so we pay them actually quite a small fee for them to do that for us.
Mm.
So can they not just pay it directly into your bank accounts through PAYE?
They do, Sue. And then the town council is invoiced by the county council.
Oh, I see what you mean.
sorry, yeah, it's sorts
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, county do our payroll, and then we pay county.
Sorry, yeah. Okay.
Right, so any other comments? Right, I think we need a proposal to whether we approve these changes to the Constitution. Thank you, Gordon. Seconded. Approved, please. Thank you, that one's gone through. We're up to any other business already? Any other urgent business? No?
Ooh,
Shorter than last week's meeting then.
It is.
Yeah.
Peter, do you want me to discuss the cameras issue at the moment, or should we leave that till main council?
No, I think we'll leave that to main council soon.
Right, okay.
I need to read Tim's report first. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else.
No, I can have me, Jim.
Jeff.
Oh, here comes.
Come on, Jeff.
Jeff, how could you?
Can I just congratulate Janet on getting the new town flag? I saw it yesterday. It looks great, Janet.
I've already done that. I think that's a really good flag. I like it.
Yeah.
Peter Broom.
Yeah, sorry, I will put this in on any other business. Just when we're on the subject of flags, I've been having a bit look around the town recently, and there's actually still quite a lot of flag poles above shops. Would it be a good initiative to try and see if we can get flags to fly from the ones that are there? There's one at the Plough, there's two little ones above.
But the owners of the businesses have to do that rather than ourselves.
I don't know. That's,
Jeff?
Yeah, the one at the centre in Fenkell Street, Gordon and I have arranged to get that taken down and changed because it's been hanging like a limp rag for the last 2 years. So that should be changed soon. Is that right, Gordon?
Yes, the county has agreed to pay for it, so it's actually ordered, so it'll be here soon. Surprisingly expensive, by the way.
That was just a thought. I just thought it might brighten the town up a little bit if we just brought the flagpoles back into use again, you know.
Sue?
I thought we'd explored this before.
Oh, I don't know. Not in my time.
I think it's been through Recreation, the Minces, Peter, a while ago. We explored it. I mean, they're all owned by, a lot of them are owned by private individuals, and you've got to get their permission to do it. And I think it was going to prove a bit difficult, but we could explore it again.
Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile.
By asking them.
Tewkesbury, if you've ever been, has a flag outside every shop. If you remember, it's one of their tokens of the village, of the town. Sorry, every shop has a flagpole hanging out. Most unusual, but I'm not suggesting that should happen.
Well, I just thought maybe we could sort of contribute towards funding it, you know, just to make the town a little bit brighter in the current.
How many are involved, do you think, Peter?
There's quite a few, but I know a lot of premises have changed hands over the years since the flagpoles were actually erected, you know. So I don't know. I would have to go around and do a little bit of a survey. I don't know. Maybe it's something we could maybe ask Tim to maybe have a look at. Peter, do you think?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I think it's worth exploring, and then we'll make a decision on whether to do it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The flagpoles actually belong to the property owners rather than the leaseholders.
That's true.
The property owners won't have changed much.
Well, quite a lot of them have, actually, to be honest with you, John. I mean, there's several different owners of the Plough since that time.
Oh, yes. I appreciate that one, yeah.
So,
yeah, I agree with that.
Well, let's bring this back when Tim's got some information. And,
lovely. That would be really nice. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, I shall close the meeting at 19:15. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.